Okay, hi, and welcome back. This is, I think, week 4 of the clinic, and this week we have the immunity boost bone soup. I hope you guys liked last week's soup. So this week, this formula is good for boosting immunity, and let me just introduce some of the herbs that are for that. The main herb in this combination is Huang Qi, which is astragalus here, okay? And this is probably the premier herb for tonifying qi. Well, let's be specific. Tonify the wei qi, the defensive qi or the protective qi, and it stabilizes the exterior. And just a reminder, the exterior qi regulates the opening and closing of the pores to ward off exterior, right? Exterior evil. And that's something that to keep in mind. It really is the best herb. And one really good thing about Huang Qi is it doesn't taste bad at all. So it's a good taste, and this is an ingredient that you guys always can throw into any chicken soup or whatever soup that you guys want. And it's really is the best herb for tonifying the defensive qi. Okay, and also a very good lung qi tonic as well, as the lungs is the uppermost organ. Just keep that in mind. The next ingredient we have here is Yang Shen, which is American ginseng. Now we choose American ginseng instead of Ren Shen for the simple reason is that Yang Shen 1 is actually a cooling ginseng. So it doesn't build up a lot of heat. And that's something that you always have to be concerned about when you're using ginseng. So most families, when you're making a soup for the whole family to tonify qi, we oftentimes use Yang Shen, American ginseng, and not the red ginseng. The Asian red ginseng, the regular red Shen, it could be too warming for some members of the family. So we oftentimes do avoid that. So Yang Shen has a qi tonic. It is a qi tonic, and it just doesn't have all the yang that could run into problems with younger members of the family if they, especially when they have exuberance of yang. Okay, so that's a very good one, and it actually tastes pretty good too as Yang Shen. It's a little bit on the bitter side, but not too bad. The next major ingredient is Ling Zhi, reishi mushroom. Ling Zhi is actually very famous for boosting immune system. It's particularly used a lot for people who have cancer and going through radiation. The combination of Ling Zhi along with Da Zao, which I will talk about next, is a very good combination. So, and there's a lot of literature on that if you want to read up on that on your own. One downside of using reishi mushroom is actually because it's very bitter. So when we actually include it in the soup, we oftentimes don't use a lot of it. So just keep in mind. But it is actually an important ingredient in boosting the immunity. So that is Ling Zhi. Now we're going to talk about Da Zao. Now Da Zao is actually very good. It's a qi tonic, blood tonic. And the combination of these two that's used in people who go through radiation therapy, chemotherapy, is that during those treatments, the chemotherapy actually cuts down on the most rapidly producing cells, which is oftentimes the red blood cells. And then in those instances, people are very anemic and they're tired. And Da Zao, the red date, is absolutely awesome for something like that. So the combination of the Da Zao and the Ling Zhi is a good combo, and thus we're using it here in this formulation. Another good thing about Da Zao is it's sweet. It's awesome, right? Because it tastes great, tonifies qi, tonifies blood. Not the strongest of tonics, but nonetheless, it's here. It serves a purpose, moderates some of the bad taste of the Ling Zhi. The next ingredient we have here is the Yan Rou. Yan Rou, as you may remember from class, it's a qi tonic, it's a spleen qi tonic, and also it nourishes heart blood as well. So it's very good for calming the spirit because it nourishes heart blood because the spirit resides within the heart, and it is also sweet. So you want, soups have to taste good, and you need to put herbs in here that actually taste good. So Yan Rou is one of the common ones that we oftentimes use. So that's a very good ingredient, help moderate some of the not so nice tastes of the Ling Zhi and the Yang Shen. The next one we're going to talk about is Gou Qi Zi, right? Goji berries. Goji berries is a liver and kidney yin and blood tonic. Also boosts essence, right? It's very good for that. And you know, anytime you need to tonify the body, the immune system, you need to also address the kidneys as well. This is a very important organ system. So right now, everything we talked about is not a kidney tonic. Even though the focus here, you would think it's just regular Qi tonic, but you also want to have an ingredient that boosts the kidneys. And that's precisely what Gou Qi Zi does. And it also doesn't hurt that it tastes good, right? And liver, kidney, yin, and blood. It tonifies the kidney to enable the kidney to generate yin, yang. It's awesome. Tastes great. And then lastly, we have Yuzu, Solomon seal. This herb is actually a yin tonic, nourishes stomach. Yin, lung yin, and it helps moisten. Particularly people who go through radiation, the chemotherapy, cancer patients. These three combo is really awesome because they oftentimes have yin deficiency. Now we put it in this formula because one, it actually tastes good because it's sweet and nourishes yin. And it just also makes a really nice blend, and it has a nice taste to it. It's probably one of the biggest reasons why we use it. Not necessarily the main herb in the formulation like these guys are, but it's also it's important. And you know, you always can swap it out with some other herbs like Shen, for example, is another acceptable thing, another acceptable option that you can choose. So key is always make sure the soup's got to taste good. You have your key ingredients that does its job, and the rest will complement, make it taste better, and of course it's consistent and serves the purpose as well. You know, in these cases, tonify blood, tonify kidney, nourish yin, and all of the above. And this is and you can play around with different combinations yourself, or just stick with this one. Okay, so that's immunity boost bone soup.